to the Escape with Nick and Adam. My name is Nick.
And I'm Adam.
There's a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the Quantum Leap reboot. We're going to talk about the latest Ezra Miller nonsense. There was an article by Vanity Fair that we're going to go through a little bit. HasLab has a new crowdfunded project that they're trying to get funded, and we'll get into that. Plus, Adam, I know you had some toy news or toy stuff that you want to talk about. So
I sure do, but we in time as the show progresses. Sure. Let me just tell our friends here at home that we are live.
We are live.
On the old Facebooks. You ever go to the old Facebooks?
The old Facebooks, not MySpace. That'd be. MySpace even run anymore?
I don't think so.
You ever tried to log into your old MySpace just to see if it's still there?
Last year, I got an alert from LifeLock that a password showed up on the dark web from my MySpace account that somebody tried to use. I was like, wasn't me. Like, change this password. I'm like, trust me, I have no idea what that is.
I got no idea what it is, but
yeah.
Other than that, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Yeah, depending on how you want to roll with the show, it's gonna be some high praise. It's gonna be some punching in the noses of.
Well, let's hold on one second, Adam. I have been. Hey, Sean joining us on Facebook. Thanks for joining.
Hi there, sis.
I have been robbed.
My sister.
Yeah, Sean's sister. Not my sister.
Yep.
Adam's sister. Adam, I've been robbed.
Of.
Okay, so this November will be the second year we've been in this house.
Mm-hmm.
And when we moved in, we didn't know that we had an apple tree out front.
No shit.
Yeah. I was like, hey, that's kind of neat. So, I think I tried one apple. It's not like they're good apples. It's not like an orchard or anything. But I was looking the other day. I was like, hey, apples are doing okay. I might try one in a couple days. And I looked out there today. Adam, someone came and took every single apple off my apple tree.
So you've been getting jacked for the last 2 years and not known it. The reason you didn't know about your apples is they're stolen at the beginning of harvest season.
Well, I knew about them last year, and this year, they were coming in, the squirrels were eating them. And like I said, it's not like we use the apples from a tree for any type of subsistence or anything, or, we don't eat them. It's one of those, hey, It's kind of neat to go into my front yard and pull an apple off the tree.
Right.
But, right. I came home and I'm like, because I checked it the other day, I was like, because they were coming in pretty good. They're not like crab apples. They were good sized apples. And last year I was like, it was how cool is it? I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm going to go pull it off the apple tree in the front yard. I go out there and I'm like, because I saw the yard, I was like, all right, maybe I'm just not looking hard enough. But I went to go get the garbage cans this morning. I was like, son of a bitch. And I called my wife, and my wife does not like when I cuss. I was like, fucking someone stole our freaking apples. She's like, what? she's at rehearsal for her thing. She's like, what? I was like, took all the apples, every single one. Not one on the ground. I was like, some a-hole came and took all our apples.
So when you hear stories of in the South or even Tennessee, whatever the northern South of neighbor helps neighbor, all that stuff. This is why you don't hear Michigan stories. This is a true Michigan story. My neighbor took all my shit. What about yours? No, man. My neighbor helped me out a few minutes ago.
Well, it's not like I'm hoarding all the apples. It's not like I care if someone walks by and grabs an apple, but don't take all the apples.
Very Michigan, very gangster.
Very gangster. Very gangster move. Gangster. Very gangster move in the thumb. But anyway, let's go. Let's start the show. So, Adam, we jokingly called today's show the new Messiah. We are joking. Don't believe it. It's totally a joke, guys.
Let me make sure I opened this conversation to two different people, Nick being one of them, by saying, we've had it all wrong. I thought about Jesus. Other people out there thought about Buddha. Some other people thought about other religious figures, Muhammad. I guess we're all wrong.
Guess we had it wrong.
Ezra Miller just so happens to be it.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew this guy? They. My bad.
Of course, there, God. More than one in there. That's a face. That's their face. Did you notice that?
I do now.
That is their face.
Can't unsee it.
No, you can't
So,
unsee it.
Adam, this is not the first time like we've brought up Ezra Miller and pretty much had the conversation of, does this finally put the nail in the Ezra Miller as the Flash? Does this, because
That's done.
This has to do it, right?
Yeah, Warner Brothers never unsaid that they would ever consider working with him again. They're just softening this blow for this movie because they need this movie.
Yeah, it's the one decent thing they've got going for them. So they're like, yeah, we're gonna and they've done the whole, okay, they've had the PR machine working already for them, right? For them, they've had the whole PR machine, they've been spinning, they've been, I'm sure that there's a big, I'd love to see how much money they actually spend to try and bury certain things or bury certain stories, but they did not bury this one. And this one is from Vanity Fairs by Julie Miller. And I don't know Julie Miller or know what type of journalist she seems to be, but and there's they create a whole timeline as to Ezra Miller and the issue that they've had here over the last few years. But let's get to some of the highlights here. Let's see here. So, sources say the actor verbally, emotionally abused those around them and referred themselves alternately as Jesus and the devil. So,
as you do,
so this kind of stems from the latest arrest. So that arrest was one downward spiral, so confusing and troubling that even old friends have difficulty parsing the chaos. What's clear is that Miller has been endangering not just their career, but also their safety and allegedly that of others. Skip down a little bit. So that was one part I wanted to get to. So most recently, Vermont State Police were dispatched to Miller's farm with an emergency order form from the Department of Children and Families. A 25-year-old woman named Anna had moved 3 young children into the household, though the woman has said that Ezra family saved her family from an abusive situation. Miller's farm was said to be gun-ridden and unsafe for children. I saw more guns than ever and 3 little kids running around. This has been the there's been things where he choked the woman, I think in Iceland, where that's kind of the thing where he said he was Jesus and the devil, I think, because he was running a cult. And then you have the whole farm situation in Vermont. You have him shacking up with a child or teenager in Hawaii. Adam, this is it's one of those things where, like, I know it's kind of been speculated. You hear things here and there, but it's one of those things where someone actually, Vanity Fair here, actually, like right here, starts to put together a timeline. Like right here, March 2020, Iceland.
Sure.
The house in Vermont contains an altar that's home to bullets, weeds, sage, and flash figurines. Miller says a source recently demanded that Susan Sarandon come pay tribute to their altar because she didn't invite him to a dinner party. We got there, and there was a big bow and arrow cocked on the table facing the door. Ezra was lying face down on the floor, like just bizarre stuff. This is the January 2022 in Vermont. It's just really bizarre stuff. And Adam, I feel like we have to ask again, is this going to do it for Ezra Miller and the Flash?
Yeah. Undoubtedly. It's done.
I mean, it's got.
Here's the problem is, well, what do you do with the Flash now? I know exactly how we fix this. If you want to know about that from a comic book standpoint, that's easy to fix. You can recast a character, or you just ditch Barry Allen altogether. You never bring him back. You bring in Wally West. I mean, or at least that's your Band-Aid. But besides all of that, first of all, he owes a debt to society for, definitely grooming a 12-year-old girl and until now she's 18 or whatever, and with the parents, he's broken a lot of laws. And so no, he can't be the Flash anymore because the Flash saves kids. He doesn't hurt them, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying let's cast him as Eobard Thawne instead.
No, I would.
He's got to go. He's got to go.
I would. This would be finally the thing where we say we are distancing ourselves as far as we possibly can from Ezra Miller, and like you said, put on the whole PR thing. We really hope that they get the care that they need, but in the same meantime, get the bleep out of our universe, please.
I think what they need to do really is take a hard look at this Flash movie. How important is it? Can we get Ezra Miller into only 30 minutes of it? And can we retool it and call it Flashpoint Batman or something? That's what one of the points that Campia mentioned, John Campia. And I agree with him because there's nothing but a good story there between Barry Allen, Dan Thomas Wayne, and Bruce Wayne. And I think you can pull it off.
Well, and I think we were talking the other day about it, and I would say, hey, let's call it Flashpoint Paradox, Part 1 and 2, put together, Part 1 with minimal Ezra Miller, and then, kind of, piece together what you can for movie 1, and then you give yourself a whole extra year to get Part 2 out there.
Right now, I gotta totally be honest. We can't blame the problem with what happens with this movie right now on the new regime. This is because the old regime didn't have a plan. This is why they were like Flashpoint that made money. Let's make that. Let's just cast anyone to be the Flash.
Well, it's not only that. It's hey, people really like this Ezra Miller, so we're going to put him in a main character. But also, hey, we had Zack Snyder. He's going to be our Kevin Feige. He's going to be our everything. We're going to, have everything wrapped up into that. Oh, and by the way, midway through Family Tragedy, well, sorry, Zach, get out of here. Hey, Joss Whedon, you did really good things over in Marvel. Just, whatever. That became ridiculous. And now you still have leftover Ezra Miller, the Flash, going, what the hell do we do with this? And in the meantime, and actually in the article, it has one of his ex-girlfriends who's like, in 2016, when he first was in the Flash, he was like pretty normal, not like Hollywood normal, but not like cult leader calling himself Jesus and the devil. That's, hey, kids, stay away from drugs, please. But in the meantime, it's been such a train wreck that this has to be it, right? This has to be it.
Oh, it's it for him. It's it for him as the Flash, that's for sure. Because Warner Brothers, one, they haven't recanted what they said as far as moving forward with him as the Flash. He will not be the Flash.
Well, and for all the things Zaslav has done and said, he, for everything that he's chopped, he hasn't chopped this, which means essentially, I don't want to say they're all in, but it's the only thing they've got going.
Well, they got Black Adam going, but I think that this...
But no one knows who Black Adam is. Sorry.
But they do know who The Rock is, and that movie is gaining some momentum. So that's what they got on their side. The good thing... Okay, a quick thing. This is just my opinion. Please feel free to disagree or agree, whatever. But I am a little The Rocked out. But if anyone's playing Black Adam, I'm glad it's him.
Right.
That's the right guy. That's the right guy for the role. And the movie's happening. And he's passionate. And he's almost Superman clean as far as Harvey Dent. Everybody dirt on you.
Yeah, everybody likes The Rock to an extent. Like I said, I'm rocked out, but I would just like to see just a touch more effort from The Rock instead of The Rock being the same guy who, put on his underpants and was in the ring. Just a touch. With Black Adam, just give me a little accent, Rock. Just give me a little bit of an accent. Make something up. I don't care. But just if he could do a rock bottom and I'd be like, all right, cool, whatever. I mean, but it sounds the same thing. It's just Rock. Just, I know you're a hard worker and obviously, dude, you're jacked. You go work out or go see an acting coach and just give me a little accent. Just give me a little something.
though, if Journey Smollett's as the Black Canary got right up front in front of fucking cameras and said, in this Black Canary movie, I'm making a choice. I'm going to have my hair short and wear a wig. I go, what? Because in my mind, that wig for Black Canary is as essential as Clark Kent's glasses. Like, there's no way in the world a woman should put on a wig and you not know who she is. Like, where did I go? You're a different person. Same thing with Clark Kent. Like, take off your glasses, Clark, and all of a sudden nobody recognizes you anymore. It's that fucking campy, but I want it. Just like his accent, so I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
it's that can't. I mean, damned if they don't make it work sometimes.
Right.
The 50s.
That is it. Just the little things. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You know what they did in the 50s with Clark Kent's glasses in the comics? They made the lenses were made from the windshield of his rocket, and they hypnotized everybody to making him think he was skinnier, hunched over, and nerdier when they looked at him. And when he took his glasses off, the hypnotism was over, and he was Superman. Right.
And Nate, our Knights of the Chihuahua friends, he has mentioned me. Could The Rock wear a wig? I was like, The Rock, that's one of the things too. Like the widow's peak. Like, come on, man. Like, like draw it on. I don't care. But
no doubt,
Nate, you're right.
You are right.
Nate, thanks for joining us. Our friends, Night of Chihuahuas. Go check out our friends, Night of Chihuahuas. It's an indie comic. It's a lot of fun. It's a horror comic. Halloween season's coming. You like a little bit of horror in your life. There you go. Hold on.
You will not regret this book. Yeah, you won't regret it. You will love every second of it. Trust me. And it will. And it's good for the soul. It's good art. All of that.
Yeah, indie fun. So. Plus, it's a small indie creator. Go help them out. Everybody needs a little help, and we're doing our part for you. So, but anyway, all right, Adam. Let's get to one of the things. Next topic: Quantum Leap. I'm gonna let you go for a couple seconds. I have to go let the dogs back in. So, take it away.
You really shouldn't do this. He actually should be around here when I talk about Quantum Leap. But I will say that I was pleasantly surprised with it. And again, he just watched it, so I'm not gonna throw a lot of stuff out there. I will say the original Quantum Leap was one of my favorite shows as a little kid. All I had to hear was that there was a show about a time traveler, and it was on the time when grown-ups were supposed to be awake, so it was serious. And I wanted to check this out, and I did. I loved it, and I begged to stay awake to watch it. It was one of the first. I had to give the background. I can't talk about the show without you here. You got to hear this. So, Nick, you take it for a minute.
All right. So we're just going the reboot now.
Well, I mean, I gotta tell the folks at home some things if they've seen the show. But go ahead, because there's something in there that a lot of, unless you're a Quantum Leap crackhead, you won't know.
Oh, hold on. Let me pull up. I apologize. I meant to do this earlier. So let me pull up the cast list real quick because I want to get
my sister, Shawnette, she's still there. You know how much of a Quantum Leap nut I was.
There are things I liked. Some things I have concerns, I'll say about. So far, the creator is Donald Belsario. He's original creator for Quantum Leap and Magnum PI writer. So I think that might be just as a credit. So they're giving it to him. But okay,
so let me talk to you about it then.
Yeah. So
okay, so you've seen the show before. You know what it's about. You get it, right? Okay, so when you're watching the opening scene where they're at that party together, you've seen the trailer. You know she's the hologram. She's the Al. And you know he's the Leaper. That's all you know. And now and
if you haven't seen the show, we're going to get into a few spoilers. We're not going to go too crazy with it, but in case you want to go watch it, little spoilers.
Okay, so now you know all of that, and then you get to that party that they're at. Okay, now I'm going to set the scene. There was a season finale of the original Quantum Leap. It was one of the last two seasons where the leap went seriously wrong at the end of the final season, right? The final show, the finale, the season finale. And when Dr. Beckett woke up, he was just in some like weird, regular kind of like hospital gown clothes, I think. And there was Dean Stockwell laying on the ground in some kind of uniform. And they were in a year that Sam couldn't leap to because Sam wasn't that old. But Al was that old. What happened was there was a confusion where whatever time and space or God, well, that's what they always left it open to, yanked Al out of the imaging chamber, slapped Sam into the imaging chamber, and put Al leaping, right? So Sam is on cloud nine that he's finally home. He's a hologram, but he's literally in the year 1990 something. And he knows there's a door around somewhere where he can just walk in. They come up with this scheme like they do in Back to the Future, where they drop the notice in the mail when some guy comes running. We didn't think he'd really be here, kind of a thing. So they figured it out that if they paid somebody $100, that'd have been enough money in that time to have somebody sit on a letter that would show up at the research place in 1999. And the minute he drops it into the fucking mailbox, the imaging door opens up because they couldn't. They were cut off because of the electrical storm. And Sam's like, yes. And then he stops for a minute and he doesn't notice. And he looks at Al, and with that Swiss cheese mind, his mind's coming back. He goes, how could you not tell me? And fucking Al just looks down like nothing but the biggest shame, dude. Nothing. Sam just remembered he was married and he had a wife all this entire time, and nobody told him. Nobody. And so he runs through that door to go see his wife, who he just remembered. So I'm watching this with thinking about that in mind, and watch him forget her. And she's got to stop. She's got to step into the imaging chamber. That is interesting.
Yeah, so, all right, let's do this real quick just so that give people their credit. So, the cast is Dr. Ben Song is our Sam Beckett in this one. He's played by Raymond Lee. Caitlin Bassett plays Addison Augustine. She's the Al. And then we've got Ernie Hudson, Narissa Lee, and Mason Alexander Park. So, all right, one thing I will say, the cast is diverse. This is the most diverse cast I've ever seen. That they've checked every box from every race, everything, which is fine. But it was like, man, diversity is all over. That's cool. So
okay, but here's the one thing I noticed about that.
Everything checked. Yeah,
everything checked. Here's the one thing I noticed about that. When I was a kid watching Quantum Leap, I always wanted to know what the time frame looked like where Sam Beckett came from, because he was from the late 90s. We were living in the early 90s.
Right.
There was only 2 cast members of that show.
Well, and
Dean Stockwell and Scott Bakula.
And that gets to one of my concerns of the show.
That's one of my concerns of the show too, because when you watched Quantum Leap, even though it was like every show was a different topic, every show had a special cast, and that cast you could feel had a chemistry.
Well, every show is a different story. You know,
right.
the continuing timeline of Sam trying to get home with the help of Al, but I really hope they don't play too much into into trying to really spread themselves out too thin, because like I said, each episode was about one particular story as they were going along. I really hope they don't try and keep playing the home base, but have it interfere with the story. I really hope that doesn't come into conflict.
See, unfortunately,
because that means
I wish we would never see the home base again.
Yes, I was like, okay, it's introduced. I don't want to see it ever again. I don't care about. I don't want to care about these characters, because that now you've got to have this weave of storylines where the interesting part of Quantum Leap was, where did he go? You know, what does he have to fix, right?
What time frame, what era is he in, what decade, what's he have to do? And then the people around him, like, you're always like, oh, it's a shame we'll never see that guy again. You know what I mean? Kind of a
right, because you know it was gone. They were never coming back to that time.
It was a wipe. You did it.
Yeah.
So that's my concern about this show too. I do like the idea though, like of like two separated lovers. I love that idea, and I'm surprised to see a husband and wife on television that are already married and trying to work together instead of like usually the trope is these two might end up together, they might not. These crazy kids.
Yeah, which I hate, by the way.
I hate that too because it got Black Canary.
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons I really liked Fringe in the beginning, because they didn't play into that trope where like, oh, they're not going to have the handsome young man with the handsome, with the beautiful lady, and they're going to they didn't do that. At least they stayed away from it for a few seasons, and eventually I was like, yeah, all right, fine. But
to not have Oliver Queen and the Black Canary become a couple is just like saying Superman and Lois Lane decided to date other people.
Yeah, no, that has to happen. That's separate. That's a different thing. That kind of has to happen.
It didn't.
Right. Which
Arrow.
Don't even get me started. Let's go back to the island again. Okay.
Please. It was better.
But Quantum Leap. So you like it. Like I said, I have my concerns about. I always like the professional Al and Sam. Like I always like that. Hey, they're kind of buddy. They became closer friends as the show went on. But I always like the, hey, jackass, I'm just trying to get you home. I guess it's an interesting take to have your significant other trying to also guide you through this thing. So
I like when he asked her, he's like, do I trust you? She's like, yes, you trust me. I like that part was cool.
Well, there are a few things where, in the story where he's trying to break free of the things and he finally does. He's like, I should listen to you more often. It's like, all right, yeah, we know. Okay. But yeah, so far not bad, but it does really pay tribute to the original. It's completely acknowledged, and actually
is
they're actually still trying to find Sam. They're still trying to go after and save him. Not entirely sure why, but it's just okay.
Well, all they've told us about that is that he never made it home.
Right.
Then they told us that Al died a year ago, and they which he did, sadly. So all we know is that Sam's out there. Now, this whole, is it his daughter, Janet, or Janice, or whatever sort of thing? I don't, personally, no, I don't think that it is. I think it's Gushy, to tell you the truth, but I don't know.
Well, I don't mind paying tribute. I don't mind that whole aspect, but also, man, there's laying it on a little too thick at times. I was like, all right. Like, as soon as there was the issue with the ring and Ernie Hudson's characters, that's a military ring from Vietnam. I was like, well, how many of those? That's easy to track down. So, and sure enough, it was easy to track down.
Unless it's Sam Beckett leaped into the body of and wants to get home.
Oh, please don't do that.
Why not?
That'd be.
Then you could retrieve him.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing. He never he's lost. Unfortunately, hey, let him stay lost. You don't actually have to bring him home.
In the last episode, he met God, like the God.
Right.
And it's strange because, well, at least he thought he was God. That was the theory. But the guy had a name tag on Al. And basically he said, you can go home anytime you want. You're the one doing this, not anything else, Sam.
No.
So.
All right. So overall, Adam, you said you liked this. Is there anything you didn't like, or maybe something that
Hey there, Nathan.
Hey, Nate.
Like I said, no, I was concerned about the same thing you're concerned with because it's Quantum Leap. I don't want to really have a lot of concern about the other characters, but they spend money on the other characters. They've got Ernie Hudson, for God's sakes.
That's what I said. They have at least go back. So they got Ernie Hudson. Everybody knows Ernie Hudson. Raymond Lee, I don't really know. Mason Alexander Park has been everywhere lately, but they are only credited in 2 episodes. So it looks like everybody else so far, most of the credits only go up to 4 episodes or 2 episodes. Hold on, because All right, hold on. I have to share this real quick because I just noticed this. So I will be this. All right, I already have concerns. So Caitlin Bassett is credited with 4 episodes. Raymond Lee, who is our star, is only credited in 2 episodes. And Narissa Lee, who is the security expert, they're credited 4 episodes. Ernie Hudson's got 4 episodes, and then everybody's got 2, 2, 1, 1, 1.
So maybe a lot of updating is needed.
Yeah, well, that's why I got frustrated. We were talking about last time. That's why IMDb's been screwing up lately, and I hate it because I love IMDb. It's always been where I go to, like, it's the Internet Movie Database. That's where I always went for my info, and that's been screwing up lately. So. But I'll say this: I like Ben Song. I like his character. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Some of the jokes they try and work the jokes, and they don't. Not that they don't land, but they land a little bit too softly. He's a little bit too straight in some of the joke deliveries where, he says the joke and then like the actress responding to goes, "This isn't a joke." Like it's so over the top of like what the joke was. And I'm like, okay, like I know I know it's lighthearted. I like the actor, but sometimes like the jokes just don't match up with the response. Sometimes I thought that was a little bit off. Let's see here. So I think I already talked about.
That show tackles some heavy subjects too.
Yeah, well, and I want them to focus on what Quantum Leap was about, going and time traveling, all the different stories, all the different places. I hope that is focused on and not the home base and all the characters back there, because I don't care about those characters. That's just getting in the way of story for me.
Okay, to Nick's credit too, for maybe people who are not used to watching old time TV and how kind of beautifully simple it was. There was a real heavy real heavy hitting episode of Quantum Leap where they dealt with date rape. Okay, and Sam leaped into a woman who had been date raped, and in the premise of the original history, she disappeared. And she never pointed out her attacker and never took to trial or anything. And then her life didn't turn out to be anything good. So, of course, Sam's not going to disappear. He's a man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make this guy pay. And they get this lawyer and they take this guy to court. And they got him for the most part. It's in a time where there's no DNA or anything. But he gets let off in a southern court or something like this because of the way it quote unquote was, and he's a good old boy and all this stuff. So the leap failed, right? And he's not leaping. He's not going where he should leap anyway, because he didn't die and the leap failed. And he's feeling like shit about it. Can't figure out what he did wrong. Even Al's there. And then the guy comes back to her backyard that he's sitting in. He's still in her body. And he threatens her. He says, "If you think that was assault then, wait till you see what I'm going to do to you now." And Sam gets up. He's like, "Oh, thank you." Kind of like it was like an "oh, thank you" moment. He's like, "She told you to stop and you didn't, did you?" Bam! And he starts talking about the person's life as if she's in. He goes, "Who are you talking about?" And he just kicks the shit out of this guy. The cops come. He's arrested. Evil's punished. And Sam Beckett leaps. So he was meant to stick around the entire time.
Well, yeah, but getting back to your point, the show tackled a wide range of topics,
right?
And from going back to actual KKK, in the 60s,
yes,
Alabama, all
shit.
that stuff, and even probably one of the best well-known episodes was the JFK episode. So
he literally leaped into Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, it played a lot of fun with history, but also dealt with a lot of serious storylines, which I hope they do, but I hope they do tactfully and not heavy-handedly, that so many writers have a tendency to do in modern shows. So we'll see.
Leaped into Elvis.
Yeah, yeah. The show's great. The beautiful thing, it's on Peacock. Go check it out. And you know what came? Well, because as soon as the first episode ended, it Quantum Leap's on Peacock, so it wanted to take you right back to Quantum Leap. So go check it out. It's a good show. But we're moving on. So
No, that was a brilliant segue because it's like we could go on and on about this, how great the show is.
So, one thing I do want to talk about, Adam, have you ever beaten up someone smaller than you or not as strong? It's okay to say yes.
There was a purpose.
Well, I would say, well, you were okay. You were the little brother, so you've got beaten up by your brothers. That's what it's like watching Rings of Power versus House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah,
It's not even
right.
Not even a battle where it's so funny that Jeff Bezos says, "I want me a Game of Thrones type show," and you know what? You got it, and it is kicking the living crap out of you.
Yeah.
No matter how much money you throw into your stupid little project, it's still garbage because you don't respect the source material and you didn't take it seriously, and you just wanted a new toy. And now it's seriously, and I was listening to a show talk about earlier where there is no Twitter traffic for Rings of Power anymore. There's no nothing. It's dead. It's just a ship that's just there. Nothing's pushing it. No one cares about it.
It's
no one
just
cares.
listing and getting musty.
It's just lazily listing to the left. And now, but House of the Dragon, like if you put out a tweet like, "Hey, this is my favorite character," no, I like this character, no, I like this character, and it's just like it's not even comparable. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Nate, I think you said you were a Game of Thrones fan. I'd be interested to have your take on House of the Dragon is because, like I said, I was never a Game of Thrones. I'm not much of a reader because I get bored easily and I need stimulation. So I like TV stuff. Production quality for which one? House of the Dragon or Lord of the Rings? Because Lord of the Rings or Rings of Power, it looks good. It looks good. It's just the storytelling's terrible. I didn't watch Wheel of Time on Amazon, but I have not heard great things either. And that's kind of how I judge it. If I have interest in something, because I know Wheel of Time was like a real, like that was a story a lot of people were very excited about. And then when it came out, it kind of very quickly, like Rings of Power, where there was no talk afterwards. And if it was mostly negative. So
I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Matt Q. He's a friend of the show and a listener. He is a Wheel of Time expert. He said that show was dog shit.
Yeah.
And then we had another friend. We have a mutual friend of ours from back in the day, Chris. He's a Wheel of Time junkie, and I read his Facebook page, I believe, whenever that show came out, and no bueno with him either.
Yeah. Hey, Ring Power Slice Pizza, thanks for joining us again. Yeah, Rings of Power writing is spectacular bad. You are 1,000% correct. They have crafted quite possibly the worst hero in all of any type of writing. A 5-year-old could write a better hero that people would care about than what these people have done so far. They have crafted a hero that is so unlikable and such an annoying, like, I want nothing good to happen to this person, but yet they're the center of the story, and I don't care because you're such an a-hole.
Cringeworthy?
Beyond cringe. Adam, it's not like, oh, like, I don't want to see them. I was like, you're so terrible, I kind of want bad stuff to happen to you. Oof. That's how bad of a character they've created. And it's not even that they've created. They took Galadriel, who was a really cool character in Lord of the Rings and also in The Hobbit. Yeah, so not a Lord of the Rings expert at all. But she was beautiful, she was majestic, she was royalty, right? And they've made her a warrior, which she never was, and she's just a straight up bitch to every single person that they encounter.
Unlikable, huh?
I'm running out of adjectives because she's just such a terrible person. She literally got saved from the sea that she jumped into for some unbeknownst reason. She gets saved, and she's an asshole to the people that save her. Like, give me a break. Like, you couldn't even give out a thank you. The only time she smiles is when she's riding a horse, and it's almost weirdly happy that she's riding a horse. It's weird. It's not great. That being said, House of the Dragon, I am thoroughly enjoying. It's so good. Like I said, Adam, it's literally like the difference between watching, children scribble on the wall of a, while they're bathing versus watching, like, they actually make like a masterpiece of, like, they weave a story. They, time pass, like years pass in the story, and they don't have to come out and bang you over the head, be like, hey, dummy, years have passed. Be like, no, you know how I know time's passed? Because the guy's got like wounds from the Iron Throne, and the wounds are worse, and he's actually lost body parts because of, it's one of those things that I love about this the story, because it really tells a, it really gets into, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right?
Yeah.
It's actually a physical and almost a mental toll of sitting on the throne. Like, there's a price to be paid for this, and the price is, not only is your life really, really ridiculously hard because you can't trust anybody, because someone always wants a piece of something from you. And, and then, like, there's literally the physical toll where he's lost fingers. He's all got sores up and all over his body. I mean, and it's to the point where, when you get that sick, it eventually goes to your head. So it's just how it goes. But also, man, like, now in this show, they have unlikable characters, but it's those characters that you really like because they're dicks. Like, Damon Targaryen, who played by Matt Smith. Like, you were like, oh, you're just a bastard. Like, you are just a bastard. Like, you son of a bitch. Like, you're just sitting there watching, like, oh, you jerk. But
you
every
son
time,
of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, son of a bitch. I was like, oh, every time it pops up, it's like, what's this bastard gonna do this time? That's awesome yet terrible, yet I want to see. I can't look away. But the last episode 5, there's a wedding. They finally, yes, power slaves. They took their jobs. I actually put that clip up on our YouTube, and I got a copyright claim for they took their jabs.
They really?
Yeah, they did. I was like, all right, whatever, YouTube. But yes, the episode 4 Rings of Power that took our yeah, I can't believe they actually. I'm surprised they just didn't take the clip from South Park and put it on there. But episode 5, House of Dragon, there was a wedding, and man, it's hard to say that it's like the politics. You just realize, man, everybody's playing an angle, every single person, and a new person kind of throws her head into the ring, if you will, of the House of Dragon. They're starting to make their play, and you're like, you're making a play too. It's like, oh my gosh, like literally everybody's got a play to make. Everybody's got an angle that they're working or something that they're trying to get, and I just, it's so good. Like, I can't recommend it more. So, but yeah, it's basically like the baby brother getting beaten up by. It's the old why you hitting yourself thing at this point. So
then saying the Amazon show needs to rise up and murder.
it can try.
I will always be on your side, little brothers of the world. Always.
J Bone, the hell with all the new TV shows. Go back and read Spawn. I've got better.
Harumph! Give the governor harumph!
Harumph, I say. Jay, you're not wrong. It's Spawn's still great. It's actually gotten better the more that he's expanding the Spawn world. It's
fucking amazing.
I love Gunslinger Spawn. He's one of my favorite characters, and that I'll just count that up to everything. All time, Gunslinger is one of my favorites.
Real quick, hard left. You keep up with all the what's going on and everything. Is that true? Is Mcfarland going to be distributing or publishing DC Comics? Is that happening?
It's kind of one of those things where it's another Zaslav thing where like essentially nothing's off the table with Zaslav, and Thinking Critical's really done a great job of really staying in depth on this because Thinking Critical does like all comic stuff. Wes does a great job over there. Go check him out. Give him a sub. But it's basically one of those things where it's not off the table for sure. And David Zaslav is a man who wants to make money, but also he wants to make sure wherever that product is licensed out to, that they're going to make money, that they're going to, take the product and make it better, or at least, sell more comics. So, and at this point right now, who's one of the top name? He's been the top name in comics for a long time, but Todd McFarlane is known as a man who makes money and does business the right way. So I would think, and Jim Lee obviously has some type of relationship going back with him, back to the original Image days. Todd McFarlane has to be, if he's not at the top of the list, near the top of the list to get one of the DC titles, because you're starting to see it. I think the Spawn Batman thing, there's a reason that kind of came back from the dead. I know Jay and you were part of the where it said it's done, and it's weird how as soon as they need to make money, all these projects kind of come out of the blue that get people excited.
That old regime over there too had their fucking head way up their ass. I'm sure that they didn't want to include. They didn't want to. There was no fair play when it came with the, with McFarlane. He probably wanted a fairer deal, and they probably were like, "But we suck."
And that was part of the thing where like McFarlane's always like, "Hey, like let me do a Batman run, let me do a Superman run," but that was the rumor that he was going to DC, and DC's like, "Oh, you want to play with our toys? Well, it's going to cost you this," and it's like, "Yeah, go bleep yourself with that price."
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, speaking of going to bleep yourself, look at these transitions. Man, we're firing all cylinders. A lot of people are telling Hasbro to go bleep themselves lately. Let's see here. So, Adam, the latest HasLab thing. Let me check that out here. I had it up. I don't know what happened. So, all right. Everybody see that? All right, good. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. So, that's what she said. HasLab has a new project up, and it is the Marvel Legends HasLab Engine of Vengeance. It needs 9,000 targets. It's halfway there, Adam.
Hey, listen, man, if these guys want it, 350 now. I mean, not for me. If it depends, man. I don't know enough about that car. That's the problem. The car is the selling point,
right?
Because it's not Johnny Blaze. That's not Johnny Blaze.
No,
that's know that.
No. It's
there's 3 Ghost Riders. I don't know which one that is. Wait, was that at the top?
It's hold on. It's Robbie Reyes. I want to make sure.
It's all the way at the top.
Yeah, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, and don't get me wrong. This toy's cool as hell. It ain't 350. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that it is either, because those are the resin effects that they make, which are nice.
Yeah, they're cool as hell, but I can't imagine doing 350. Like 350, I was willing to do. I don't know why I thought the Hiss was worth 350, but I just don't see 350 in this whole lineup here.
The Hiss has a fucking laser.
Well, that's the thing. The Hiss had so many. It was
bells and whistles. It wasn't funny. It was a tank too. It was an artillery toy. This Hot Wheels have made cars to this scale, and they've been die cast, and they haven't been 350.
Well, that's it.
We're talking about die cast metal.
No, I'm happy you said that, because there have been a lot of look. Okay, so everybody knows if you are interested in the HasLab, back in one of these HasLab projects, you are going to pay premium dollar.
Sure.
But expected with that premium dollar, you're expecting a premium toy, which I'm not saying this isn't premium, but it seems a touch on the high side for what you're actually getting. And someone said exactly that, Adam, where it's like, hey,
so okay, but like the 350, you are, in my opinion, this car, what I know from comic books, is supposed to be a specific car, either a Dodge Challenger or a Dodge Challenger or Charger.
Yeah.
One of the two. Is it a Charger it's supposed to be?
Well, that's the thing. They're not going to tell you. I say
Okay.
that looks like a Charger to me, but
it's not. It's not either one. People have already come out. I've already read these. It's not. It's a generic muscle.
No,
car.
it is. Yeah, it's generic Dodge muscle car looking.
And the one in the comics is, in fact, a car that exists in real life.
But okay, so here's the thing too. So like you could really, if they really, really wanted to like do this up right, they could have gone to Dodge and said, hey, you know what we really need? We need a life-size
version.
We need a life-size version of this.
I can't believe we just thought the same fucking thing.
I say that's how you do that right. You go to Dodge and say, hey, yeah, let's do a thing,
Well, we need a life-size version of it to give away as a prize, and then we need the consent to make the actual car a Charger or a Challenger, whichever it actually is. I'm not saying I don't know the difference between a Challenger and a Charger. I'm just saying I don't know which car it's supposed to be because I don't know the Ronnie Reyes Ghost Rider as well as I know the Johnny Blaze. I do respect that he drives a car, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, because it looks badass. So
I know, right?
All right, so hold on.
Imagine.
It looks like it's a Challenger. Yeah, that's a Challenger.
A Hell Challenger. How about that? Hey, click on the view of the rear view.
Hold on. So that's a Challenger right there.
Yeah.
That's no doubt. And I'm not the super duper car guy, but I very well could be wrong. I've been wrong.
Yeah, and I'm not into airplanes.
All right. Hold on. Damn it. What's the thing again? Okay. All right. There are some nice details. Like, yeah, there's a lot of nice details in this, but I just don't see 350 in this. Oh, you said you wanted what, the rear view?
Yeah.
It's got a trunk. Hey, it's got a cool little shifter.
Is it RC? If it were RC,
well, that might be worth it.
Yeah,
look, okay, so there are things that there are details here that, yeah, that's nice. And even you can see numbers on the gauges. That's cool. But
again, though, the thing is we've had Hot Wheels cars that scale, 1/12 scale Hot Wheel cars that weren't 350 and they were die-cast metal.
No, I think I saw one guy say, I think it was like 120, maybe 150 for that, right?
Yeah, and if you really look at this car, you would, really the biggest thing that it carries with it is the fire effect, and that's not that special.
Yeah, so one of the things that
to me
that HasLab does is what their stretch goals, and they just announced their first stretch goal because they're halfway there. But we put it up, Adam. We put it up on our Instagram because that's where we talk about things sometimes that we're talking about show. And I think this is one I think they wanted to hold back on, but they released it pretty early. It's Mephisto. That seems like it. That seems like so with the hiss they had the Cobra Commander as the last stretch goal. I think that's kind of what they originally had it set up as, but it came out of the gate a little bit slow, and they had to release, hey, we need something to get these guys to get it to 9,000 backers. And I think this is one of the ways that they released Mephisto as the first stretch goal. I don't think they wanted to do that as early as they did.
I don't know. I think it seems like it's playing dirty when you essentially just have a car that doesn't do anything. I can defend the his tank all day and night because it's a tank. There's multiple things you can do with it. You can push this thing and you got a fire effect.
Right.
I don't know. It looks great, but no, it's not 350. Again, I'd go 250.
But I say I think 250 is where I think a lot of people would be more comfortable at. But
I'd be 250 with stretch goals.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, 200.
If they did 250, they'd already have it. I guarantee that.
Oh,
350. That's a tall ask for this. And I honestly, as soon as I saw 350, I said, "Yep, no interest. No, thank you."
I can't imagine what the freaking cost is going to be on that new Eternia playset.
Yeah. Well, I think I've heard between 3 and 5 for that, but that's worth it. That's huge, though.
I know.
If it gets beyond that, but see, if it gets beyond that, it's too much. Because I mean, yeah, the Eternia playset, that's awesome, but holy moly, that's that's.
It's like
you can't go much beyond that.
Dude, the plans.
So,
the photographs. Now I take shitty photographs on purpose. Like it's kind of like the tongue in cheek of what I do for my Instagram. You want that up on this channel, folks? If you want that, let me know. But
Adam's crappy photos. Let us know.
But yeah. I mean, I do them crappy for a reason. It's part of the art. But man, the ideas I've thought about with that, because they're releasing a Space He-Man, right?
Yeah.
Target exclusive from the new He-Man Adventures.
Oh, I do like those. That line's pretty good.
Yeah, and you know what? Mattel is calling that canon. It is canon.
Well, they have to. They have to. It's successful. They need all the hits they can get with He-Man. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, that didn't last very long. If you remember, that was the early '90s where he went into the future.
Right.
Do you remember that? Yeah. Anyways, we'll see.
So
we'll see. But it will be mine, and so will that He-Man.
Yeah, one of the things sticking with the Hasbro thing, a lot of people have been complaining about Hasbro's new packaging. And if you are not familiar with Hasbro's new packaging, especially for the Marvel Legends line, there's no windows. It's just essentially a box. And they've had a lot of issues with people either returning things because people have swapped things in and out of the box because they're not doing a good enough job putting safety tape on there. Nerds Oak did a great video explaining what was going on, but basically people are pissed because they're getting their boxes, and if you're an in-box collector, you almost want to take it out of the box, make sure you actually got the figure you think you got. And that's one of the things that I stopped doing in-box collecting because that doesn't do a whole lot for me anymore. But because I want to take them out and play them, display them, and all that.
What the hell are you doing?
What are you
doing? I got an infant cat over here.
Oh.
Well, she's not quite an infant anymore, but she's making all kinds of ruckus, and it's just her.
But so there have been people returning stuff because I think there was they returned one of the Spider-Man figures because they had wrestling figures in there. And then there's also quality control issues where they returned a Venom figure that was missing an eye, that didn't have his eye painted on. Like, what the hell is Hasbro doing, Adam?
Well, I know that the move to all cardboard was because of the plastic shortage and to keep the cost of the action figure down. It was cheaper to do it all in cardboard. Doesn't mean it was a good idea.
Well, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that the figures are cheaper, asshole.
Well, that's just the thing. You're still charging me $25. Now we're talking about $30 for a Marvel Legends. I don't know.
A 6-inch Marvel Legends figure, when it seems like everybody's getting a little bit bigger with everything.
Everybody's going to 1/10 scale.
Yeah. And once again, thank you, Todd Mcfarland, because he's been doing it basically the whole time.
Yeah. And those, anyways, I don't know, man. Just when's it gonna stop? I mean, like, when do you stop? Do you stop? Do you ever stop? I mean, they've made so many Marvel Legends action figures. You know, I'm just trying to catch the new X-Men, round. I want to complete my little X-Men team.
Well, that's it. I was like, I need a good Wolverine, and I like the Wolverine that they've got out right now with the
claws.
the hot claws, which it looks good. I don't care for the yellow that he's painted, but I do like the figure. I think it's a good looking figure, but at the same time, it's still freaking $25 for a 6-inch figure. I'm still like,
do we have this in common with Wolverine, where you like the yellow and brown?
No, it's almost like a neon yellow. Like I like the.
Oh, you like the Michigan color ones?
Yeah, I would say I like the little bit darker yellow. I like the blue. The brown's okay. I know it's cool because it's OG, but like I grew up animated series Wolverine.
No. I like them both. I do like that brown though. I like it more as an adult than I did as a kid.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. So, all right, Adam. I know you had some figures you wanted to show off.
Yeah, man. So the 1984 superpowers are back. Okay. As you can see, we got an empty Superman container here.
I would say, is that the clear Superman toy?
That's not the clear Superman. Here is the Superman toy. Now, in 1984, when this figure came out, you'd squeeze his legs and his arms would move. Okay.
I had that.
They had a reprint of him in the late 80s, 89 by Toy Biz. Same figure, except they put a magnet in his chest and they gave you this kryptonite ring. And when you got the magnet close, he'd fall over because the magnets repelled each other.
See, that's clever. That's cool.
This has no action features at all.
Wow.
I knew that was coming. And I think to its detriment. I think that's to its detriment. However, it is for the adult collector, I guess. Now, in the prototypes of these capes look like shit. They did not come looking like shit. He does have this on the back. I've got to get about 2 or 3 more of these so I can cut this off and put it on the back of, my 7-inch ones. But that's the Superman one. And I think the Superman one looks great as Superpowers Superman figures goes. Now, if you'll excuse me one moment.
He's burping. Ain't getting toys.
I am burping. So here behind me we have the 1984 Superpowers Batmobile.
That thing's cool.
Yep, it's got the lights that pop up like so. Okay, so you have that, and then in the back, how did this work? Just battering ram or something. Oh well, Robin just died. Oh yeah.
No worries, Jason Todd. It's fine.
Gotta do one of these with it, right?
So that does stuff, but they didn't include the.
Oh no, this is authentic. This is authentically. This is from 1984, literally. Yeah, I didn't play with this as a kid. I bought this off of someone in the secondary market. So that brings us to the Todd McFarlane Batman. Well, that sits in it. Also, no action features. Back in the day, if you squeezed his legs, his arms would move. They made a black Toy Biz version to mimic the movie, and he had an action belt that would swing out. But this is the Superpowers Todd McFarlane Batman. Everybody take a good look. I think it's pretty good for a 4.5-inch action figure that's supposed to mimic something from the 80s. But then you got the problem with it is you got that 89 Batman movie, and you got a little company called Kenner that made the original Superpowers and then continued to make better figures in the early 90s after the 89 Batman movie came out. Here is the 1989 Batman Kenner figure. This is not the updated version. This is from 1989. And here's Todd McFarlane's. Okay. You can kind of see also here's Iron Winch Batman, one that I actually did play with as a child. And you can see that these face sculpts, if it wasn't as blurry, are designed to look like Keaton, even back in 1989. And so I don't know which one is more superior, the originals or the new ones. Face sculpt wise, I really, I don't know, man.
My heart
Body
goes
wa-
out to the original superpowers. Yeah.
What's that?
I-
Your
that's
vote. Your vote goes out to the original superpowers.
yeah.
Well, these are just mimics of them. So
I know, but I need me a Hawkman one for sure. Oh,
well, they have one. They do have that.
but not the not the Mcfarland ones. Not yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah,
They do have John Stewart out. They leaked. They leaked
did.
Wonder Woman.
They did leak a couple extra ones. I do remember that now.
I'm all in. I'm collecting them all.
Shocker.
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 Well,
got him again.
Got him again. Here's the cool thing, though, is that at Sergeant Red's, our friends at Sergeant Red's, a wonderful toy store there in Utica, Michigan, I found 6-inch Mattel Superpower action figure reissues from the last decade. Okay. If you look those up, they're 6 inches. They come in this packaging, and they're supposed to be anniversary editions. And I have them on a buy now or buy as you go plan. So those will be coming soon, but those will never be opened. They will be hermetically sealed. But they will be showed on the show. So that's really about it, man. I just wanted to show off what Todd's got going on. I like it, don't get me wrong. This Batman, I wasn't sold on him until he sat in this Batmobile. Once he sat in this Batmobile, I was okay with it.
All right.
See if I can get it better. There you go. And it's a special treat for you, Nick, and the folks at home.
Is it a cookie?
I brought all the Batmobiles.
Oh.
Except for the 66 one. That's Mattel, and we have all seen that to death. But here's one of Nick's personal favorite Batmobiles.
Is it the 89?
I'm pretty sure. No, it's not the 89.
Oh, it's the Batman
It's the
Forever.
95 Batman Forever Batmobile.
Does it light up?
It does, but I don't have batteries in it.
Nice. Remember we did a stupid film and we set it on fire?
It wasn't this one. It was a remote control 89 Batman we set on fire. It wasn't this one.
No, it was a model that I put together that we set on fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I remember I was Skip Shady or something in that video.
I forget. So stupid.
And then we got this one. You can tell I really, really, really love. This was a gift from my sister in 2005.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell I love this one because it's dusted.
Right.
And I've owned it for 17 years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the batteries are dead. But it lights up too.
Oh,
Actually, I think Christian Bale's sitting in it. Oh, he is.
Look at that. Nice.
Yeah.
Surprise.
I think he was a Kenner figure too, or the continuation of. So if we can, oh my God, it bent his ears down. We gotta get look at his ears. So there you go. There's your scales right there.
Nice.
And then
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's one of my favorites.
yeah. Projectile.
Coming at you.
Guns popping up. It's a fucking boy's toy.
Nice.
Oh, this was cool too.
Ha!
And as the wheels turn, it spins.
Oh,
Like the
that's
fire's
clever.
actually blazing. Yeah. Let me go make sure my cat doesn't eat the missile.
all right. And I will show a thing. Oh, left. I have something that I found at a Toys R Us. I can see it right there. But when the Batman animated series 30th anniversary. Fantastic. And mine has actually I found two, so I bought add one. So let me show you real quick. So Hey Google, turn the lights off. There we go. And hold on. Oh, let's bring Adam back. There we go. And
Yeah.
wait. Oh yeah.
That is bad.
This figure's freaking fantastic. I love it. Gonna do an unboxing for this pretty soon, but yeah, this figure, it's awesome. So, hey Google, turn the light back on.
Hey, Nick's, what do you say as I come pick mine up on Thursday?
Whatever you want to do, my friend.
I was just gonna pick it up. I want to bring it home.
So I didn't even notice this, but like the cape's even like formed where it's like blowing in the wind and all that. Golly, like that's freaking awesome.
Somebody set it up on Instagram and then did jump cuts of different Batman on that.
Nice.
Yeah, as if to show every Batman in that position. Oh man.
Yeah. So and then I did grab one more figure. Actually, I didn't grab it. I got it in the mail.
Nice.
This is Mikey as the Mummy. And I love the back of these because they do got like an old school movie poster. And this one says, "Through ancient dust and pizza crust." Fantastic. Lurks Michelangelo as the Mummy. Mikey comes to life. Unbelievable turtle terror awaits. Is it dead or alive? The party dude is out of his tomb. Beware the curse of Cowabunga. You've been warned. That's just
That is
fantastic.
Just amazing.
And then yeah, you've got stupid monitor in the way. So you've got a couple different heads. You've got
Oh man.
3 sets of hands. That thing on the far side there, that's a snake. Like it's gigantic. But it's just these figures are freaking awesome. I just picked up Leonardo a couple weeks ago. Was able to get this one off Target. Target's website. Oh, the I don't know what they're called, but they're like nunchucks. I don't know if that's an Egyptian or Pharaoh logo, but those are like the nunchucks for him. Yeah. Yeah, some unboxings coming back pretty soon. So
Awesome.
Power Slice Pizza, did you see Constantine? Power Slice Pizza. Do you know something that we don't know, or was that just a complete random question last week?
Because all of a sudden that blew up.
Yeah, as soon as you answer that question, like we were talking about, we're like, yeah, we'd love to see it. And then like 2 days later, it's like, hey, guess what? Keanu Reeves is down for Constantine 2, and it got announced. So good call on your part. But yeah, saw that. And yeah, dude, Keanu reprised his role as Constantine. Sounds cool. Now, once again, Keanu, I know, well, I don't think Keanu can do a British accent. I think we learned that in Dracula. But
he should do the role the same way that he did it before. He was good in it. Right. He was good in it, but at that was at a different time in comic book movie like history. Like, how do you say this isn't a comic book character? Now, yeah. How do you say that? There's animated movies about him. There's a CW/NBC TV show about him. I mean, he's the Hellblazer. I don't know. It just seems like, well, we couldn't figure it out, and we're gonna go back to doing this. You know, that's. I don't know. I'm gonna see it because it was a great movie, but you know, it's just weird. It really is. It's like, let's do Batman without the cape.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because Power Slice Pizza, I put it up on our Instagram, which is one of the places that we try and put up. So when did we put that up? A few days ago. But anyway, yeah, Warner Brothers sets Constantine sequel, Keanu Reeves and Francis Lawrence to reunite. So yeah, that's good news. That's one of those. That was a business decision type of thing where I'm like, hey. That worked pretty okay. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
So why not? And it's one of those things. If you're gonna sit there and bitch that, oh, it's not the real Constantine, like Adam said, it is what it is at this point. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it'll also add that dimension though too. Like, in well, let's say there's a third one. Also, well, which one is the real Constantine? You'll have that debate.
Well, that's the thing. So if we do, and I don't know and I don't know Constantine nearly well enough to say how far they strayed from the comic books or not in the first one, but do you start to introduce more of the comic book storylines into those Constantine movies? Because I'd love to see Keanu go back to hell and have do the Hellblazer.
Yeah, turn the temperature down so the Lions can win the Super Bowl.
Hey! Technically, the Lions are in first place, tied with the rest of the division because they're all just 1-1. But hey, I'll take it when I can get it.
I am not knocking the Lions, nor would I ever, except for when I'm watching them.
Yeah, except when they suck, which is most of the time. But anyway, speaking of things that we hope doesn't suck at them, Andor is being released this week on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I saw a preview for that, and I heard like there was a mandate, no fan service on that set for anything. It had to be like it had to further the story, or it wasn't allowed to.
Well, and I think it's probably one of the smarter things that Disney Plus or Disney Star Wars has done, because they took probably universally considered the best thing that Disney Plus has come out with, which is Rogue One. Okay, well, let's have an offshoot of that, which I'll admit, I've said the entire time, it's the show no one asked for. No one said, hey, I need to know more about that Andor guy. That being said, Chris Gore over on Film Threat said he's already seen the first 3 episodes, which are going to be released this Wednesday, tomorrow. And, I like, because he doesn't really give away too many spoilers, but he did say this is far and away the most adult Star Wars Disney thing that they've done, very much in the same vein of what they did with Rogue One. It's sticking to that very serious, very adult. It's not played up for the kiddie thing. It's not what one of my biggest complaints was Kenobi. I was like, I really would not have cared if you just made a Leia show. Cool, let the little girls and the little kids have a Leia show. No big deal. But it doesn't seem like they're fitting in Disney's not fitting any of the kiddie stuff into the Andor show, which I'm okay with, because I like me a nice, spy thriller, espionage type thing.
Show for adults.
So, once again, all my joy and excitement for Disney Star Wars went away with Kenobi. I'm not saying I'm excited, but I am definitely intrigued, and I will be checking it out. Adam, are you planning on watching Andor?
I wasn't until I saw the trailer earlier today. I'll check it out. I'm not going to sit through 3 episodes, though.
Yeah, I'd say, because I want to, if it's good, not even if it's good, I do want to. We are going to review some of it here, so I know.
Yeah, I'll check it out. This is something I will definitely do, even, you know what I mean, like for the show at least, you know what I'm saying? But like even with Quantum Leap, I'm only going to go so far with that. I already know that.
Right.
Maybe
Andor,
not, though.
Diego Luna returns as Cassian Andor. I know it's got a really good cast. So I know, where's he at? It's got one of the Skarsgårds in it. Can't remember which one. But he plays interesting character into it. I don't remember where is he at. Yeah. Come on. He's not even on here, so they might be trying to hold back who he's playing. So, is it Alexander Skarsgård? Because he was in Dune. Which one was in Dune, Adam?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. I didn't know there was a Skarsgård in Dune.
Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård. So he plays the Baron. So Stellan Skarsgård is going.
Oh, the dad.
Yeah, dude. There's so many Skarsgårds.
He's from Thor.
Yeah, he's from Avengers. He's from MCU. So he's in it. So it looks. I'm intrigued. I'm not excited. I'm not anything. I'm intrigued. But we are going to review it. I think I asked Danny if he wanted to help review that show, so we might have Danny on a couple times to help review that. I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to do anything this Thursday, but I'm going to be by myself all Saturday, so might do a show Thursday. Might talk about it then. We'll see.
Thursday, I'm driving to your place to get my Batman.
All right. Well, hold it hostage. But anyway,
Did you just hear him?
yes, that's a threat.
Make me disappear.
Power Slice Pizza. Take it easy, man.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Appreciate the content.
Constantine was a hopeful guess. That's a hell of a hopeful guess. Very specific Power Slice.
Power Slice Pizza. You got any hopeful lotto numbers?
Yes, very specific lotto numbers.
I just need 6. I just need 6 numbers.
What do you guys think about 45, 25, 36? Let me write that down and I'll let you know tomorrow.
So, all right, Adam, unless you got anything else, I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, I got nothing. I had a great show. 42. That's
42.
The first one.
All right.
That's
all
also 4 and a 2, and it's 24. 4, 2, 24, 42. That's 4 numbers. Let's play the daily 4.
I say anybody wins Lotto, you have to give us a cut and Power Slice Pizza, just for the record.
Bitches, I'll get up early and I will play.
So,
no, but
anyway,
I'm gonna try that. I am. I'm gonna play those numbers. Power Slice Pizza.
Yeah, Adam.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Are you a Lotto player, Adam?
I played it once for a year straight, and I didn't become a millionaire, so I stopped. But that was the experiment. Played the same numbers, played the same amount for a year straight.
Hey Jay, if you're still watching, if you wanna, if you're gonna watch Andor, we'd love to have you on. So, let me know if you are gonna check that out. But yeah,
yes.
You're Jay, obviously always welcome. But I know. Not sure. I forget exactly how you felt about Kenobi, if you were off the Disney Star Wars train or not, kind of like I was. But yeah, if you guys want to hop on and talk about Star Wars, or one of these days, if you want to talk about House of the Dragon or Rings of Power, we just like to get on and talk about nerdy stuff. So let us know if you're interested. Other than that, Adam, let's wrap it up. So, if you guys want to follow what we're doing on day to day, see what we're talking about, see what we're going to talk about on the show, go check us out on Facebook and Instagram, The Escape with Nick and Adam.
Mm-hmm.
If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to us on YouTube. It helps the channel. And also, if you want to listen to us, God bless you if you do, but you want to take us with you, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Music, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. So, other than that, I think it's time to go. Adam, any final words?
Love you, Planet Houston. Be good to each other.
Good night, America.